Welcome to Cruise News, your daily update on everything happening at sea. Visit cruisenews.io to see today's stories and sign up for email alerts. Today we are looking at a clear shift in how cruise lines are operating, specifically how they are leaning heavily into big events, themed vacations, and behind-the-scenes sustainability to shape the guest experience.
Right, and it is a very deliberate editorial lens we are seeing across several major players. We have updates from AIDA Cruises, Margaritaville at Sea, and Bacardi's maritime operations, all pointing toward this highly curated approach.
Let's start with the AIDA Cruises announcement. They just released their winter 2026 to 2027 themed sailings, and it is a massive schedule.
It really is. They are rolling this out from November through March across 3 of their larger vessels.
The AIDAnova, the AIDAprima, and the AIDAcosma.
Exactly. And rather than just offering standard winter getaways, they're targeting very specific demographics with these themes.
Yeah, the variety is quite something. They have a comedy special scheduled.
Which features magician Mark Wyde and comedian Etzeze Schroeder.
Right, and then on a completely different end of the spectrum, they're doing a Body and Soul Week.
That one focuses on fitness and mental balance. They are bringing on their feel-good ambassador, Petra Havlakova, for that.
They also noted a family special featuring the Dwarf Orchestra. But the one that really stands out in the report and frankly represents a highly specific demographic is scheduled for February 2027.
You are talking about the Dark Cruise.
I am. A dedicated dark cruise.
Which is a fascinating choice, but it shows how targeted they are willing to get. They are bringing in professional darts personalities for this.
Yeah, Raymond van Barneveld and Max Hopp are named in the release. And it is not just appearances. They are running full tournaments and workshops on board.
It fundamentally changes the product. You are not just selling a cabin on a ship. You are selling access to a niche community event.
And AIDA is going beyond just changing the programming. They are physically altering the onboard environments to match these winter themes.
The infrastructure modifications are significant.
The AIDAnova, for example, is getting a full winter wonderland setup. That includes a Christmas market and actual curling on board.
And the AIDAprima is installing an ice rink.
Installing an ice rink on a moving cruise ship.
Right. I mean, the maritime engineering required for that, the refrigeration demands alone, plus stabilizing the ice against ocean movement, is a major operational commitment just for a seasonal theme.
Which tells you how confident they are in this strategy. And they are integrating these onboard themes directly with the geographical destinations.
They have a couple of distinct itineraries that highlight that destination integration.
Let's look at the AIDAprima's Spanish Nights sailing.
That one routes around the Canary Islands and Madeira.
Right, and to match the ports, they are heavily programming Latin pop and flamenco music on board.
So the ship acts as an extension of the destination. But the Norway itinerary is perhaps the most ambitious logistical pairing.
That is the Norway's World Heritage with Ski Festival. The AIDAprima is docking in Oslo.
Yes, and they are bridging shoreside winter sports with onboard events.
They're bringing in Olympic biathlete Magdalena Nuner for that one, along with the pre-ski programming on the ship itself.
It is a closed-loop experience. You spend the day skiing in Oslo, and you return to a ship that has been temporarily converted into a ski lodge.
Moving into January 2027, AIDA is adding a few more specials.
The AIDA Dances sailing is one.
Featuring pros from the show Let's Dance, specifically Joachim Lambie.
But the Crime and Sea Cruise is arguably the strongest example of this hyper-niche targeting.
I would agree. That is on the AIDAnova. It includes stops in Southampton for access to London and Le Havre for access to Paris.
And the entire focus of the onboard programming is true crime.
They're running forensics workshops and crime scene reconstruction events.
Which is an incredibly specific market to cater to on a vessel of that size.
The starting fare they listed for that Crime and Sea Cruise is €775.
Right, and when you look at that €775 price point, it highlights the business strategy. They are not competing with generic budget cruises anymore.
Because if you are a true crime fan, you are comparing this to the cost of attending a shoreside true crime convention.
Exactly. You are paying a premium for the curated programming. AIDA builds a highly engaged, captive community that is far less price-sensitive than the average vacationer.
So AIDA is clearly bringing specific themes onto the ship to create these events. But our next story shows a completely different approach to the same concept.
Margaritaville at Sea.
Yes, Margaritaville at Sea. Instead of curating a niche hobby on board, they are turning an entire destination into a branded mega event.
And they're utilizing their entire fleet to do it.
The date for this is January 28, 2027.
That is when they are executing the Nassau Convergence.
Which is a massive logistical undertaking. They are uniting all three of their ships, the Paradise, the Islander, and the Beachcomber in Nassau at the exact same time.
The coordination required with the port authorities in the Bahamas for a 3-ship simultaneous arrival is intense.
And the focal point of this gathering is an exclusive Zac Brown Band concert.
Held at the Nassau Cruise Port Amphitheater.
But the key detail here is the exclusivity. Access to this concert is only available to guests who are booked on one of those 3 specific overlapping sailings.
You cannot just buy a ticket if you are staying at a hotel in Nassau.
Right. It forces fans to book the cruise to access the event. Let's break down the logistics of how these 3 ships are actually getting there, because they are staggering the departures.
They're utilizing multiple home ports across Florida to capture different markets.
The Paradise is sailing a 4-night itinerary out of Palm Beach,
while the Islander is running a 5-night sailing out of Tampa.
and the Beachcomber is taking the longest route. That is a 7-night sailing from Miami.
And that itinerary calls at Grand Cayman and Jamaica before finally meeting the other 2 ships in Nassau.
We should actually talk about the Beachcomber, because that is a significant part of their expansion.
It is their newest vessel.
Formerly the Costa Fortuna.
Right. And once it enters service, it will be the largest ship in the Margaritaville at Sea Fleet.
The release noted it will feature new original shows, specifically naming Friday Night Country and Club Fuego.
But the real story with the Beachcomber is the business move happening behind the scenes in Miami to support it.
You are referring to the Port Miami agreement.
Yes, there is a pending agreement with Miami-Dade County for Cruise Terminal C.
The numbers on this are substantial. It guarantees 1 million passenger movements.
And it guarantees $23.15 million in revenue over a 5-year period.
That is a massive financial commitment.
It is. And the release highlighted that this marks Port Miami's first preferential berthing agreement with a new line since 2019.
A preferential berthing agreement basically ensures they have guaranteed priority access to the terminal infrastructure.
Which is critical. You cannot operate a 7-night mega event sailing out of Miami if you do not have the terminal capacity secured.
Especially considering the growth trajectory of this company. Margaritaville at Sea only launched in May 2022.
Less than 5 years from launch to uniting a 3-ship fleet for a single destination mega event.
They're clearly using this event to drive urgency.
Right.
They mentioned pairing this with their VIP packages and their America's Summer Sale promotions.
It is textbook FOMO marketing. The scarcity of a 1-day, 3-ship Zac Brown concert drives immediate bookings.
But when you look at the sheer scale of these operations, thousands of guests gathering in Nassau or thousands of guests on the AIDAprima Spanish nights, the level of food and beverage consumption is astronomical.
Which requires a completely different approach to supply chain management.
And that leads directly into our final story regarding Bacardi and their maritime operations.
Specifically, their partnership with ecoSPIRITS.
Right. Bacardi is expanding their circular packaging pact for the cruise sector.
This is a direct response to the sustainability and logistical challenges of high-volume events at sea.
They started a pilot program with Carnival Cruise Line back in August 2023.
And the data from that pilot is what is driving this expansion.
The numbers in the report show they eliminated over 130,000 single-use glass bottles,
which equates to roughly 82,000 kilograms of packaging waste.
That is a massive reduction in physical waste.
Well, and it is a massive reduction in dead weight. On a cruise ship, carrying tens of thousands of heavy glass bottles and then storing those empty bottles until they can be offloaded is incredibly inefficient.
So the technology they are using to replace the glass bottles is called the ecoTOTE.
Yes, specifically the ecoTOTE 3.0 SC Cruise Edition.
Which is a reusable 4.5-liter container.
Right, so each one of these units replaces 6 standard single-use bottles.
And they utilize a SmartPour dispensing system at the bars.
Connected to their circular-own software to manage the inventory digitally.
But the physical hardware of the Cruise Edition ecoTOTE is very specific to the maritime environment.
It has to be. You are dealing with strict safety and health regulations at sea.
The internal vessel is actually made of glass.
So the premium spirits never touch plastic.
But that glass is housed inside a heavy-duty aluminum chassis.
And a high-density polyethylene enclosure to protect it from the ship's movement.
They noted these units are built for 100 to 150 reuse cycles.
And they include tamper-evident seals to ensure full compliance with U.S. public health standards.
This expansion covers a huge portion of Bacardi's portfolio. The release stated it affects over 200 brands.
They specifically named Patron, Grey Goose, and Bombay Sapphire,
which are high-volume, premium brands for the cruise sector.
Rodolfo Nervi from Bacardi actually commented on the dual nature of this program,
Right. He noted that it hits their corporate sustainability targets.
while simultaneously drastically reducing the weight and the waste handling costs for the cruise lines.
And doing all of that without compromising the quality of the drink the guest receives.
The guest just gets their cocktail at the Zac Brown show. They do not see the aluminum chassis or the software system making it happen.
Which really is the overarching theme of today's briefing. The cruise lines are meticulously engineering every aspect of the guest experience.
From front-facing entertainment to back-end logistics.
We see AIDA curating these highly specific, niche onboard communities with their crime and dart sailings.
And Margaritaville at sea, utilizing their entire growing fleet to turn a single port day into an exclusive mega event.
All while companies like Bacardi implement unseen sustainable technology to make these massive gatherings operationally viable.
It is a fundamental shift in how the industry operates at scale.
It definitely is, and it leaves a provocative thought to consider. If these ships are so successfully transforming into highly specialized venues, whether it is a floating concert arena or a true crime convention hub, will the actual geographical destinations eventually become secondary? Could we see a future where cruises to nowhere serve entirely as self-contained fan festivals, where the ocean is simply a backdrop for the ultimate branded experience?
It is certainly the logical conclusion of these current trends.
Thanks for listening to Cruise News. Visit cruisenews.io to catch up on the latest updates and sign up for free email alerts.